3 years into my marriage to Lucien, he suddenly stopped sleeping with me. Later, I found out his star teaching assistant's mother was dying of cancer and her last wish was to see her daughter get married and have a child. Lucien told me, "Blair, don't overthink it. She only wants a baby." She didn't even ask me to arrange a fake wedding for her. Not long after that, he almost lost his mind when he held my positive lab report. The sweet campus jock pulled me into his arms. "Professor, since your wife has the kinder heart, I only asked for a wedding, and she gave me a baby." Lucien is Riverdale's famous golden boy heir, yet he chose the scholarly life and became a professor just to mentor grad students. I overheard him tell Buddy in private, "No reason really, the girls there are fresh." Today marked the 20th time this month he'd gone hunting for a fresh undergrad. Just like every other night, he said before leaving, "Blair, classes are hectic right now. I'll be up late prepping slides, so I won't come home and disturb you." Instead of giving my usual absent-minded "got it," I suddenly asked, "Don't we have a study here?" He froze. "The study, it's inconvenient. A lot of materials aren't here, I need to be on campus." I said nothing more and kept skimming the document in my hand. He hesitated, oddly, no longer rushing toward the door. He stepped back. "Are you upset? I admit I've neglected you. Give me a bit more time. Once the semester settles, I'll make it up to you." Afraid he'd come closer, I quickly locked my phone. "Just go. I'm heading to bed." He stayed where he was, studying me. I really was acting different tonight. But then his phone buzzed. Whatever the fresh girl sent made him inhale sharply, and without a word he disappeared. I exhaled, relieved, and tense. The study was indeed inconvenient. There was a fresh someone inside, just male. The door clicked. "Sis, why is advisor leaving so late? It's dark in here and I'm scared." I barely stopped myself from rolling my eyes. Colt is 20, he'd just showered and water still traced the grooves of his carved muscles. That ripped frame, honeyed chest, you look once and you crave a second glance. Yet this guy keeps whining sis, hiding behind me, claiming he's afraid. If he weren't ferocious and mind-blowing when it counted, I'd have traded him out. He strode over and wrapped me in that steaming body, pressing us together. "Colt and I started 1 week ago. Every time Lucien ran to someone else, I'd message him. He shows up without questions, unfazed that I have a husband. All he ever did was straighten the framed wedding photo on the nightstand a couple of times and ask how I did it with the man in the picture, and whether he could make me forget the sensation so that, from now on, only his memory lingered. Several times he forced me to nod. I never told him that using him for revenge on Lucien is a large part of why I keep him around." Without waiting for the green light, Colt hooked an arm under my knees. "Sis, the study's fun, but we've never tried the living room, how about here?" Tonight he looked rougher, less obedient. He came on his own, showered on his own, pinned me to the desk and kissed me, almost leaving clues for Lucien to find. I pushed at him. "Lucien's repertoire is limited, you've outperformed his entire record in a week. Seems pointless to drag this on." Colt chuckled. "Sis, you sure you want to call timeout right now? Pointless? Since we're already here, once more won't hurt." I looped my arms around his neck. "Then let's try everything. You've got stamina to spare." "Everything?" "There are only 2 places. The house has 2 floors, pick a room, even do them all if you're up for it." His wild side flashed. "Sis, you really plan to cut me off? Less talk, can you or can't you?" I knew once those words left my mouth, no man would admit defeat. My little scheme was perfect. Colt would exhaust himself and feel too awkward to show up tomorrow. This ridiculous revenge game could end then and there. The next day I woke near dusk. My last memory was piano keys jangling under frantic weight while the music room rang. I'd passed out to that metallic buzz. I clearly recalled Colt exhaling in relief, patting my cheek. "She's finally out. If you hadn't passed out, I would have died. Damn, I'd better run." I almost laughed, but I was too drained. Before blacking out, I remembered someone washing me, carrying me to bed, and a vague caress across my face. I couldn't quite read it. I sat up, my lower back felt lashed. That pain drove every sentimental trace from me. I clenched my teeth and stood. Thankfully, housekeeper had cleared most of the carnage. I transferred $100,000 hush money, then let her go. I opened Lucien's chat, still no word, still no return. Neither had Colt made a sound. A broke college kid. After last night's marathon, a little allowance for nutrition felt fair. Worried he might feel insulted, I spent half an hour composing a heartfelt mini-essay. A red exclamation mark answered me. I shrugged. Money saved. But I knew his account number. Send or not. If I didn't, would he think I was cheap? Exactly, why else had he slipped me the card in the first place? I pulled out the credit card he'd given me, typed the digits into the transfer page. Once finished, I'd barely cleaned up when Lucien walked in. He paused at the foyer, hand still on the knob, watching me. Quinn, he shut the door, toed off his shoes. Allergic reaction? I told you, no dairy. I can't spare hours to drive you to the ER. Subconsciously, I touched my swollen lips, then the red blotches on my neck. I wavered, just come clean. I'd already settled on divorce. As for assets, our prenup was airtight. What's his is his, what's mine is mine. No crossover. Telling him costs nothing. And it'll sting. I cleared my throat. Any 20-year-old jocks in your cohort, guys built like athletes? He shot me a baffled look. Your throat's puffed up and you're dodging the doctor? Allergies can kill. Blair, I'm swamped. I admired your independence, that's why I married you. Since the wedding you've become someone I don't recognize. Forget it. I'll have the driver take you to the hospital and ask housekeeper to boil you some broth. Wait, where is housekeeper? She doesn't clock out till 9. He rattled on, then stared. Cat got your tongue? Following my gaze, Lucien scooped up the paper that had slipped from his pocket. Oh, when did this lab report surface? Housekeeper didn't check the laundry. I'll dock her if it happens again. I merely looked away. I didn't mention that innocent housekeeper was already gone, nor did I say the name printed on the slip, Stella, obstetrics, gynecology, today's date. I sent Colt a friend request. Me, is Stella from your university? Ever heard of her? He replied, nope, sweetie. Never heard of $1 million one-night fee either. Mind if I book a few encores? I set the phone down. I met Colt the day I impulsively dropped by Lucien's campus and spotted him making out with a co-ed. One kiss ended, eyes still glazed, they dove back for another. I'd meant to film them, but Lucien suddenly opened his eyes and glanced toward the window. Instinctively, I ducked, straight into Colt's sweaty chest. He'd been carrying basketballs to the equipment room. Balls thudded down the stairwell as they tumbled one after another. What he ended up holding was me. I buried my face in his shirt. After someone behind us drew the curtain, I pulled away. Colt brushed whatever was under my eye. Sweat's good for something, huh? I've never thought of myself as the soft type. Yet one sentence possessed me like a ghost, and I invited him out. Lucien came home only to leave again. At the door he said, we're expected at the Sterling Manor tonight. Grandfather wants to see you. When I didn't answer he turned back. Problem? A severe allergic reaction can kill. Hadn't he said so himself? I laughed softly and nodded. I pressed ice on the swelling, dabbed concealer over the marks. By the time I reached the old mansion nothing looked shocking. Before I even stepped inside I could hear the noise. Richard and Catherine both hold PhDs, later switched to business and built the family fortune. Stiff, unsmiling people. To hear such commotion, to see them allow anyone to misbehave in their presence, was practically unheard of. Inside, a young girl was bouncing on her toes, peeled grape in hand, feeding it to Lucien. UKY, open up, it's fine. The Prof and Mrs. Sterling won't mind, just one grape. She wheeled around, giggling. Right, Professor? Mrs. Sterling? I'm your favorite, Catherine sighed. You two grew up together. If your father's business hadn't collapsed, you'd have been family long ago. Richard and Catherine still have students this young? She can't be more than 24, 5 or 6 years younger than me, and Richard and Catherine are already past 70. They never even tutored their own son. Startled, I followed the butler Indiana. Even the famously stone-faced Richard sounded wistful. I only advised a couple of papers, no need for titles. If anything, I'd like you to call me what Lucien does. She knows how to work a room. She swung on Richard's arm. Can't do that without a proper name, why not give me one right now, Professor? I stepped in like a rude interruption. Father, planning to adopt? I turned to the girl whose smile had frozen. And you are? Dylan? Wrong girl. She forced a crooked grin. Miss Whitman, I'm Hannah, Lucien's good friend, also Richard and Catherine's goddaughter of 20 years. Her smile steadied. I've been family since I was 5. Impressive tenure. Lucien reached for me. Blair, don't stand there, we're having a family dinner. After I married in, the Sterlings issued a house rule: spend the last night of every week at the manor, plus extra nights on holidays. Today isn't any of those, so what's the occasion? Probably Hannah the relative. Amusing. No introductions? Miss Whitman feels off. Lucian frowned. Blair, quit making scenes. Hannah has no history with you, what else should she call you? Richard rapped his cane. Entering without a greeting, utterly ill-mannered. Catherine pulled Hannah behind her, trying to smooth things over. The whole scene was slapstick. I said, no shared past, and no future either. Lucian lowered his voice. What are you implying? You want Hannah gone? What did she ever do to you? I shook my head. The one leaving wasn't her, it was me. We're getting divorced. Bringing it up now was just seizing the moment. Once the idea rooted itself, nothing could uproot it. Everyone looked as if I'd started throwing vases. These past years I'd played the perfect wife. How did they still expect tantrums? I checked my phone and texted while walking out. Too late tonight. Tomorrow, 10 a.m., City Hall. Lucian chased after me, but a thunderous voice behind him declared, I was spoiled rotten. If he couldn't rein in his woman, he needn't call himself Richard Sterling's son. That stopped him. I hit send, turned back, and said, Sam, I formed this charming personality during the 20-plus years before I ever married into your family. You can't take credit. Richard roared at the disrespect of both tone and nickname. Lucian stayed mute. Coward, I thought, my first real disappointment in him. Outside the gates my phone kept pinging. So yeah means what, exactly? Let's be clear, this is mutual. I wired your money back, I'm not on call for cash. Spell it out. That yeah means I can still come? I answered Colt with a single word. Already he was spiraling. I almost unsent. The option was still there. Blair, are you playing me? Unsending yeah equals no? I typed, you still up for it? Then come. Silence for a while. I can manage another round or two, but 2 whole floors? Impossible. Not just me, no guy could. Ask around. Or ask your husband? He caught himself and unsent the last line. Forget it. I'll train harder. How many rooms does your place have? 8, 9. Who needs 20-plus rounds a night? Give me 2 or 3 days, I'll try. I pressed a hand to my forehead. He's the one who boasted. I drove to the Grand, pinged him the room number, 1508. You want my life on a platter? I must have lost my mind, then unsent every line. 20 really is too young. He can't take the heat. Since I was here and the Sterling house was the last place I wanted to be, I stayed. After my shower, while waiting for takeout, I stepped into the corridor and heard a familiar voice. Professor, I feel awful. I know you helped out of kindness, but I'm carrying your baby. Can't you stay with me? Stella, you begged me. You said your mother was dying and her last wish was to see you married with a child. I offered a wedding, you refused, just wanted a lab report to show her. Now you use the baby as leverage? Is this what I taught you? The man was unmistakable. Hadn't he been at the family dinner? How had he reached the hotel in an hour? Then the girl sobbing must be Stella, the one he'd rejected 20 times that month. Could Lucian really be acting from kindness, granting a dying woman's wish? Or did Hannah's return have something to do with it? My guess was confirmed before I shut the door. I'm sorry, Lucian said, but the woman I once loved is back. From now on my heart is hers alone. So he wouldn't set foot in this hotel again. I caught Stella's stunned face. The woman you once loved? Isn't that your wife? Lucian's reply was ice. None of your business. Grow up. His sudden chill made her release his arm. He tugged free, brushing the wrinkles from his sleeve. The takeout sat untouched. Lucian and I met 3 years ago, and for 3 years we loved. It was love at first sight. Better matches existed for both of us, yet we chose one another and walked down the aisle. We were happy, for a while. He was so good to me I never suspected he kept a past love alive. Then came the late nights, the overnight absences. At first I never imagined another woman. Until a month ago, when I visited campus. That makeout session I interrupted wasn't the first, or the first girl. I pressed a hand to my chest. Maybe I should just stay in bed and sleep. I had to get up early. City Hall was a long drive. Half asleep, I heard knocking and my phone buzzing beside my ear. My eyes snapped open, everything around me looked foreign. I brushed the corners of my eyes, wiped away the dampness, and got out of bed. Blair, what the hell? I called the front desk, There is no room 1508, but there is a door marked 1508. If you don't open up, I'm starting to think Riverdale's reigning campus is getting punked again. I pulled the door open and found Colt leaning against the frame, arms folded, face full of grievance. Honestly, I'm not that bad. Maybe I'm not your fantasy, but I'm still top tier. You passed out before we even got started, like I couldn't finish the job or something. I fisted his collar and yanked him inside. He shut up instantly, his eyes darted around. What's wrong? I shut the door. You go to Beacon State? He nodded. Yeah. Why, questioning my degree? I already showed you my ID and credit cards. Speaking of which, you slipped that black card into your purse and forgot to give it back. Can I have it? I'm scared you'll wire yourself another tip. I licked my lips and handed the card over. What's your major at the sports college? It's a sports university, so of course it's movement-related, sports medicine and physical therapy. Why, you're pre-med? Yeah. And Beacon isn't only athletics. Your husband teaches business, right? Pretty flaky if you ask me. Sounded about right for his life arc. His parents were merchants who still clung to scholarly integrity, so they pushed him to get a teaching license and land a university gig. Sounded classy. Business major, still chasing money, so he could slide back into the family firm later. That whole household lived in knots. Colt couldn't figure why I was quizzing him and thought hard. Oh, you mean that Stella chick? I asked around. She's an orphan. He caught his breath. Got adopted later. Used to fly under the radar, but not anymore. Lately she's loud, new clothes, new vibe, totally different person. Did this guy always pause mid-sentence? I shoved him, he didn't budge. You said one more round, just one. It's late and I've got a 3K tomorrow. Come on, let's be quick. He leaned in to kiss me. I told myself, athlete, normal, but he's in med school, still normal? Soon he delivered, calm and logical. Tonight I'll tack on one more set, or go longer. Tomorrow come watch my meet, it's our sports festival. I hissed a small breath. Fields don't break, but people do. Keep this up and I'd need a hospital. I said, fine, but first I need a divorce. Colt froze, then turned savage. When Lucien saw me the next day, his look was tangled. Blair, you don't have to hurt yourself to make me feel bad. We're married, you've always mattered. You said you wanted a divorce. I know that was just heat of the moment talk. Let's go home. Today at City Hall never happened. He reached for me. I'll drive you to the ER, your allergic reaction is getting worse. Don't let it turn serious. The dairy, tell me you didn't overbuy. Trash whatever's left. I couldn't explain that Colt's extra round, after I'd begged him to quit, had ended with me drinking something that definitely wasn't milk. I'd almost died of rage, but I was too weak. I just lay there and swallowed. Colt's eyes had glowed predatory, but he was spent. He passed out holding me. My throat was genuinely swollen now. Talking was impossible. Still, I wasn't leaving without the paper. I typed on my phone, divorce. Lucien typed back, impossible. I only came to City Hall because every other channel to reach you was blocked. I snapped, speak. I can hear you fine. His face stiffened, he pocketed the phone. Enough. You've proved you matter to me. What more do you want? With all your allergies, who else will baby-proof your life? I held up the screen, named them, then, besides dairy. Lucien opened his mouth, nothing came out. He rubbed his nose, glanced at City Hall's doors. Then his eyes iced over and he clamped my throat. Pain exploded. A notification pinged. Through clenched teeth he hissed, Blair, who's texting done divorcing yet? And these marks, this isn't an allergy. His fingers tightened, air vanished. Didn't think you had the guts. Cheating on me, how classy. It felt like meeting him for the first time. In all our married years we'd fought, sure. He'd clench his fists, breathe hard, never this vile. I slapped him hard. Crowds gathered fast. Brawling spouses outside City Hall? Old news. Lucien jerked back, onlookers drifted off. He glared. Forget divorce. Think I'll let you run off with your boy toy? His phone rang. School event today? I'm coming. He strode away without a backward glance. I clutched my bruised throat. After this, the divorce would happen. Legal assault beats domestic if I stayed. I texted Colt, today's meet a big deal? Nah, just a sports day. I meddle so often it's boring. Wait, you bailing on me? I cut off his typing bubble and tapped. If it's not big, pick me up, you matter to me right now. My phone exploded. Blair, is that a confession? We said no strings hookups. You're breaking code, pick up. Quit declining. If you're confessing, at least let me hear your voice so I know it's you. Answer me. Whoever's on the other end, Riverdale is Lancaster territory. Hijack her phone and I'll bury you. Damn it, geezer, give the account back, this is urgent. Colt's messages turned manic, he spammed giant transfers. When none were claimed, he stopped. No takers? Then it really is you. Blair, I'm fried. You almost made me sprint from South 4th Ring to North 3rd. Chill. I asked, you're Lancaster, the beacon one? Replies slowed. Yeah. Why? Your family's elite too, we're evenly matched. Not many are, so we'd actually fit. I stared, then said nothing and rode to the ER. On the way he wrote, so, divorce signed? I must have been brain fried. I clarified my earlier text. I only meant important for errands like holding my place in line. Not a big deal, delivery apps exist. Head back. His reply zipped in, another brush off? I typed yeah, then deleted him. Ridiculous, the real crown prince of Beacon, 20, slept by a married woman 10 years older. The Whitman empire would implode. I powered off my phone, spent the day on IVs, and woke to Colt's scowl. No surprise, the Lancasters really do own this city. Finding me was child's play. He said, you ignored my calls because you couldn't speak? You deleted me because I talked too much and you're too tired to answer, huh? What's your imagination cooking up, little bro? I cleared my throat, sound came back. No, I just don't want to leap out of a tiger's mouth and straight into a wolf's den. I can't afford to mess with your family. He deflated a bit. That's brutally honest, but it's fine. I'm only 20, still 2 years from the legal age to marry. By then the old man will have retired. A grouchy codger with no power can't do a thing. He shot me a look. See? The Lancasters follow the law too. My vision blacked out, and stayed black while I sank into sleep. Lately I can't tell whether it's heart tired or body tired. Either way, life sucks. That day I came down with a raging fever and spent 3 days in the hospital before it broke. On discharge day, Lucien showed up. He didn't look surprised to see me. His mood didn't spike when he spotted Colt either. Clearly he'd already figured out who was beside me these days. More precisely, he'd learned exactly who Colt was. Before Lucien spoke, he weighed his words, finally swallowing half of them. Let's go. I booked City Hall for today, paperwork time. I'm the one who wronged you first. Even though we had a prenup, I'm transferring 10% of my assets to you. Sound okay? While he talked, his gaze drifted to the man next to me. Colt stood nearby, arms folded, tall and broad. Pressure radiated from his eyes. Years of soaked-in pedigree meant he could scare people with zero effort when he wanted. Old money, after all. Colt probably hadn't needed much to make the man who once wanted me ripped apart rethink his tone. I didn't feel much lighter. Even after stepping out of City Hall, the rock on my chest hadn't budged. Surprisingly, everyone vanished after that day. No one popped up in front of me again. A month later, Lucien and I were back at City Hall to pick up the divorce decree. Still a threesome, only this time he was the one with a +1. Hannah smiled at me. Ms. Whitman, such a pity. Before I could even change how I address you, we're officially strangers. I flipped through the property transfer agreement Lucien had given me, pretty generous. Even 10% of his equity stake, and the paperwork was airtight, the gift already executed. I said calmly, so what's your plan now? How will you two refer to those 2 ancients of the Sterling estate? Oh, and will Lucien's baby be carried to term? Will it call the same 2 geezers grandma and grandpa as your future kids? What are you talking about? What baby? Blair, what the hell? I've never fought fair, why shield scumbags? Lucien had long known I'd caught him with another woman. Not just the night outside the Grand when he realized I'd seen them. That evening in the Sterling Manor, when I mentioned Stella, he heard me, yet never once asked about it afterward. I let the 2 behind me claw at each other and walked to the car. The engine cough started, then died. Again. I accidentally hit the wipers and watched the pair through the glass, one yanking the other into a possessive embrace. Lucien kissed Hannah hard, again and again. She struggled at first, then tilted her head and kissed back just as fiercely. I rested my skull against the headrest like a clown who should exit gracefully but instead flashes her wounds for the lovebirds' viewing pleasure. Someone opened the door and slid in. Enjoy the show that much? Then let me join. The wipers slapped faster, the car began to rock. Even outside City Hall, where spectacle is routine, passers-by stopped, clucked, filmed. The two outside finally paused, faces dark as they glared. Hannah, clueless, followed their line of sight. She thumped Lucien with a pink fist, shoved him off, wiped her mouth, and ran. When Colt paused, I blocked a repeat performance. He looked aggrieved. I trained all month and took supplements. I'm definitely stronger. I told him to quit fantasizing. He was already at human max. I had no wish to trend online. I just wanted the crowd gone so I could slip out unseen. Colt flattened the seat, patted it, and had me crawl to the back with him. He hugged me and we slept like the dead. When night finally fell, I nudged the still groggy man. That's your idea of conditioning? One round. Did that day and night marathon break you? His sockets were sunken. No, I've spent the month at war with the old man. What war? The question almost escaped. I shut my mouth in time. Colt's smile was self-mocking. You don't ask, but I'll tell you anyway. Lucien has no sense. He dumped our mess on the old man's desk. I fought and won, and only then did he obediently sign the papers with you. I called a service to tow the car for detail and inspection, then told Colt to dress and scram. I never answered the hope in his eyes. He didn't push. Anyway, the old man said what he doesn't see won't pollute his eyes. Keep you out of his sight and he can pretend I'm single. The future is long. I knew coaxing the Lancaster patriarch even this far was near miraculous. The higher the tier, the dearer the face. The only grandson of 3 generations tangled first with a married woman, then with a divorcee, unmentionable and undignified. A divorcee equals damaged goods, status drops by default. A wild playgirl still outranks a divorced woman in their ledger. In the Lancaster vintage worldview, attaching themselves to someone like me is a demotion. I understand that, so does everyone else. When Hannah brought the wedding invitation, she spelled it out. Ms. Whitman, I think you're pathetic, don't you? Her gaze dripped pity while her fingers nervously traced her cup. She wasn't confident, yet it didn't stop her from speaking truths I could own. The Lancasters have rooted themselves in Beacon for 70+ years. You think once the old man retires in 2 years the whole network just withers? Of course not. In clans like theirs, no individual gets to choose a life, least of all Colt, the lone sapling, the lifeline of the Lancaster future. No one will permit us to end up together. Ms. Whitman, actually Lucien was your best match. They say you refused the first blind date, that you were anti-marriage, but when your family tottered your mom forced you with her life on the line and you caved. Lucky for you, the man at the table was Lucien. You thought it was love at first sight, but the real trigger was my father's crisis. I was rushed overseas, and to signal distance from the Sterling family, the Sterlings courted you. In truth, you were nothing but a pawn. Hannah finished, certainty glowing, waiting to savor my collapse. I merely sipped my tea. But Miss Sterling, to decide who holds the chessboard you check who gained the most. The Whitman facade glittered, using the Sterlings to claw back into Riverdale's inner ring in only 3 years. Me? I walked away with 1% of the Sterling founders' shares, $1 billion a pop, plus assorted movables and real estate. Lucien tossed in, $15 billion easy. What did Blair lose? Only an imbalance in affection. Look at the Sterlings. To declare their stance, they funneled cash to the Whitmans. How much they hemorrhaged in this game is anyone's guess. Hannah's knuckles whitened around her cup once she tallied the ledger. So what? Think you've latched onto the Lancaster branch now? Dream on, they'll never crown you daughter-in-law. The Lancasters? Please, let's get one thing straight. I paid the Whitman debt once, no encore. I owe the Whitmans nothing now, so what do the Lancasters even mean to me? What do they mean to a woman already worth $1.5 billion? $15 billion is pocket change in Riverdale, but to the rest of the world I am the fortune. Enough clowning around, I don't need to be roadkill between 2 family empires any longer. Men? What the hell are they worth, anyway? I'm the empire now, and empires don't hunt for men, they hunt for toys. I stand up, smooth, lethal. So when you learned Stella begged me to give her a baby because it was her mother's dying wish, what exactly ran through your head? Sympathy? That why you didn't throw a fit when you found me with her? And your final reason for the divorce was Hannah showing up? You watched my parents dote on her and it ate you alive? I spin around and find Sam inches behind me, eyes glassy with regret. hand half lifted before he thinks better and pulls it back. Do all men write their own fanfiction? Warmth has been in short supply my whole life, but I don't pine for junk I never had, and it sure as hell doesn't steer my life choices. I brush past him. If you want those founders' shares back, come find me with cash. I only want money, no more sterling contamination. He seems to murmur, I already regret it, too low to catch, and I stride out of the ivy without a second glance. I inventory every asset the settlement handed me, then ring up buyers to cash out. One sucker offers way above market value. I'm no longer a $1.5 billion heiress, my net worth just hit 2. Actually, beyond Lucien's payoff I still hold my own little war chest, funds, trusts, short-term notes. After liquidation I bank another few dozen million. Next I sit down with the Whitmans. My parents now have a 1-year-old golden heir. To secure his future they swallow hard and wire me $3 billion, almost half the family balance sheet. They've heard rumors about the Lancaster crown prince and me. Cutting me loose feels safer than risking a whisper in his ear that could bankrupt their precious son. I pull everything, stare at the final figure north of $5 billion, and almost laugh myself sick. 3 years of wasted marriage bought me $5 billion in compensation. Sounds like the most lucrative mistake of my life. Sis, sign already. Even if you ghost me you still want the check, right? Contracts and signed, don't make me bolt. Were you gonna find another pigeon like me? My phone dings. It's a text. Colt and I still haven't re-added each other on WhatsApp. Since the ink dried on my absolute divorce from Lucien, we haven't spoken. His shameless pitch is irresistible. I drop him a hotel address and a room number, sling my bag over my shoulder, and leave. For the whole ride his friend requests spam my screen. The instant I accept, messages avalanche. Sis, I swear I can go multiple rounds, wait for me. You booked me the second we matched. Swear I'm not holding the contract over you, we could have done this anyway. Sis I'm almost there, maybe 60 minutes. Damn this traffic. Reading the avalanche, I finally admit money is a brutal job. Colt is a willing sucker ready to overpay. I'm not the romance novel heroine who tears up the check. Cash is oxygen, gives me wings, and I won't refuse. I order a cold brew in the hotel lobby and wait. Then I spot 3 people I thought were permanently off my radar. They're tangled in their own soap opera, so no one notices me. Yuchi, you're really calling off our engagement? Yes. I don't love you anymore, and I'm done letting my parents direct my life. Weddings cancelled, professorships resigned, now I do what I want. Professor, I'll never see you again? I followed your advice, terminated the pregnancy, and told my dying mom I'd never be her puppet. She died with her eyes bulging in hatred. I avenged myself, all because you believed in me. Advisor, I can't lose you. Hannah Sam Stella, primetime comedy. I'm in a generous mood, so I laugh out loud. I squint, sip, and when Lucien turns his head is struck dumb by the sight. Blair, it's been years since I saw you smile in sunlight. He steps closer, drops to one knee. I'm sorry, Blair. Our story started crooked. I was hooked the first second, but you were my parents' pick and I held that against you. I iced you out. I was a bastard, and it ends now. I swallow cold brew. You resent mommy and daddy, so you resent me? What, your brain still in beta? He flushes ugly but forces a grin. I failed you, anger is fair. Scold away, and when you're done we'll be square, okay? I gag, for real. The nauseating show is yanked backward and smashed to the carpet by a flying fist. Oh, my mistake. The thing that makes me sick might not be Lucien. It's Colt, panting, eyes wild. Hospital labs confirm it, for weeks along. I'm blindsided. Colt is euphoric. He spins me in circles. Perfect, Blair. We'll have the kid, hand him to the old man, and once there's another Lancaster prince I'm obsolete. Gramps will finally leave me alone. Blair, we're free to be together. Younger guy drops the sis, and his intentions roar. Seems Colt is moved by his own flawless logic. Only tiny flaw, he forgot to ask my opinion. I tell him to ink the paperwork and wire the funds now. After I watch the balance jump, I lift a brow. And after that? Then what, an undergrad with 2 years left and 0 income? You expect me to raise a baby and you? Without the Lancaster name, what are you? Colt's head spins. He parks me on a lobby chair, crotches hugging himself. That's vicious. Everything I own carries the Lancaster tag. Once I'm useless they'll, actually no, they can't take it back. I funded my own hospital freshman year, waiting to graduate and be both MD and CEO. Seed money's clean, licenses legit, operations legal. We live under rule of law, even Grandpa Lancaster can't shutter it. The $1.5 billion I paid you came from that hospital, and it will keep printing money. He can earn that much? A college kid? If so, my $5 billion nest egg starts looking average. Maybe early retirement isn't the plan. Maybe I need a new 5-year forecast? Before I finish the thought, Colt traps me against the hallway wall and kisses me stupid. When we part, a silver strand bridges our lips. He flicks it away and smirks at the fuming spectator. Then he ducks behind me. Blair, he just got word the Sterlings are under federal audit. He wants to punch me. What audit? The Lancasters declared war? I tilt my head. Didn't he resign from Sterling? Emery, suddenly he cares again? Who knows, hypocrites flip fast. I still doubt. You can topple the Sterlings? For now I'm the treasured heir, my voice carries. He picked the wrong fight, I don't do suffering. I squeeze my eyes shut. The melodrama is killing me, cut it out. You got it. Colt lifts me bridal style. Let me show you savage. From the corner of my eye I watch Lucien's fist clench, slam the wall, and leave. He's officially scenery. I ask the guy sprinting me toward the exit, so we keeping the baby? Colt answers instantly. Yes. I can't survive another year like this, one and done, deal? What if it's not a boy? Relax, I'll stay valuable, and I won't make you suffer. Thanks for listening. On a 1 to 10 scale, how would you rate today's story? If you liked it, smash the like and share with friends. Drop your thoughts below, subscribe for more, and see you next episode.